The year is 1971. The airwaves are on fire with songs that will define generations. From gritty rock anthems to bubblegum pop, from soulful ballads to bold social statements. This was the soundtrack of a changing world. But which songs truly ruled the charts, and why do we still remember them today? Let's count down 10 unforgettable tracks from 1971 that shaped music history. Number 1, Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep by Mac and Katie Kissoon. 1971 gave us some of the most powerful, soulful songs in history. And then there was this. Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep, a bubblegum pop anthem so infectious, you couldn't escape it, even if you tried. Originally recorded by another artist, it was Mac and Katie Kissoon who turned it into a US hit. On the surface, it sounds cheerful and playful, bouncing with sunshine and joy. But listen closer, those lyrics tell a different story. Music, a child, asking where their parents have gone? For a song that sounds like pure candy, that's a little dark, isn't it? That strange contrast made it even more fascinating. Catchy to the point of absurdity, the chorus hooks you instantly. It drills into your brain and refuses to leave. And once it hit the radio, there was no escape. The Kissoons recorded it after signing with John McLeod, a songwriter and producer who had crafted hits for British pop acts throughout the 60s. But it was their voices that gave the track something extra, a warmth and soulfulness that stopped it from becoming a throwaway novelty. That balance between playful and polished is why, decades later, this quirky little song still lingers in pop culture. It's proof that sometimes the simplest songs make the loudest noise. Number 2, Gypsys, Tramps and Thieves by Cher. It's 1971, and Cher is stepping out of Sunny's shadow. Until now, she was one half of a hit-making duo, but then came a song that changed everything. Gypsys, Tramps and Thieves. This wasn't just a pop record. It was a story, a tale of a traveling performer told through the eyes of her daughter. A story about love, judgment, and survival on the fringes of society. Cher didn't just sing these words, she inhabited them. Her voice dripped with emotion, pulling you into a world where prejudice was real and acceptance was a distant dream. Every lyric felt like a secret whispered by someone who had lived it. Musically, it was rich and cinematic, a fusion of pop, folk, and a touch of country. Acoustic guitars, sweeping strings, and subtle percussion gave the track depth, while Cher's commanding vocals sat right at the center, unshakable. But the genius of this song wasn't just in its sound, it was in its dual purpose. On one level, it was pure entertainment, a gripping narrative you could sing along to. But beneath the melody, it was a commentary, a bold statement about society's judgment and hypocrisy. The impact? Number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Overnight, Cher went from a pop duo partner to a force of her own, paving the way for a career that would dominate music, film, and television for decades. Number 3, Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. It's short, it's fierce, and it hits like a hammer of the gods. In early 1971, Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song stormed the charts, peaking at number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100. Just 2.5 minutes long, but in that time, it delivered pure rock thunder. The track explodes open with one of the most iconic riffs in rock history. Then Robert Plant lets out that chilling, Viking-inspired wail. Instantly, you know you're entering something epic. The song drew inspiration from the band's trip to Iceland, weaving Norse mythology in a hard rock fury. Plant's lyrics conjure visions of longships, cold winds, and warriors chasing glory across the seas. What makes Immigrant Song legendary is its unrelenting energy. From the first note to the last, it doesn't let up. John Bonham's drumming crashes like rolling thunder. John Paul Jones's bass line drives the song forward like a warship cutting through icy waters. And Jimmy Page's guitar, sharp, raw, and melodic, turns the riff into a battle cry. This wasn't just a song, it was a statement. It proved that Zeppelin could take heavy themes, raw power, and commercial appeal and blend them into something unforgettable. Its mythological edge laid the groundwork for entire genres of metal to come. half a century later, Immigrant Song still feels unstoppable. Number 4, Timothy by the Buoys. At first, it sounds like a simple folk rock tune, bright melody, smooth harmonies, and a chorus that sticks in your head. But listen closely, and the lyrics tell a much darker story. 3 men trapped in a mine, and the fate of one of them isn't what you'd expect. That twist sparked outrage and radio bans across the country. The song was written by Rupert Holmes, yes, the same man who later gave us Escape, the Pina Colada song. He originally wrote Timothy as an experiment. That contrast between sound and subject matter is exactly what made Timothy unforgettable. Number 5, Mr. Big Stuff by Jean Knight. When Jean Knight stepped to the mic in 1971, she brought sass, soul, and unapologetic confidence.
Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Stuff?
In just 3 minutes, it became more than a hit. It was a cultural clapback. Every woman who'd been played, dismissed, or underestimated found their voice in Knight's sharp delivery and biting lyrics. The track soared to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became an anthem of female empowerment in soul music. Ironically, Jean Knight never hit the top 40 again, but with Mr. Big Stuff, she didn't need to. One song was enough to make history. Number 6, Love Means You Never Have to Say You're Sorry by Sounds of Sunshine. This track feels like a postcard from a gentler era. Warm harmonies, soft AM radio glow, and a sweetness that lingers. Riding the wave of sentimental pop, it leaned on tender vocals and a title that borrowed cultural weight from the hit film Love Story.
Jenny, I'm sorry.
Don't. Love means never having to say you're sorry.
Musically, it was pure simplicity, clean guitar strums, slow pacing, and sincerity over flash. No big hooks, no studio trickery, just a heartfelt message aimed straight to the heart. Recorded in a modest LA studio and released on Ranwood Records, a label better known for easy listening than chart toppers. This song became a rare crossover success, proving that sometimes honesty is the best production tool. Number 7, Resurrection Shuffle by Ashton, Gardner Dyke. Bluesy, brassy, and built to rattle the walls, this track came out swinging, fusing rock grit with R&B swagger. It had the feel of a late-night bar jam, raw and immediate. The horns did the heavy lifting, stacked against gritty organ stabs and a pounding rhythm section. Recorded at London's Trident Studios, the same space where Bowie and Elton were shaping early hits, it carried that unmistakable live wire energy. The title? A last-minute invention. The phrase Resurrection Shuffle was coined on the spot to capture the gospel-tinged groove and loose, swaggering soul that made this track impossible to sit still to. Number 8, For All We Know by the Carpenters.
Love, look at the two of us.
This song might just be the most overlooked number 1 hit of 1971. The Carpenters' version of For All We Know spent 3 weeks at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 in the spring of that year, yet it's rarely mentioned in discussions of the duo's greatest hits.
We've got a lifetime to share.
Originally written for the film Lovers and Other Strangers, the song dealt with themes of uncertain love and the fragility of relationships. Karen Carpenter's vocal performance here is a masterclass in emotional subtlety, conveying vulnerability and hope in equal measure. Her ability to uncover the emotional truth in a lyric was never more evident than on this recording.
Let's take a lifetime to see.
The arrangement was characteristically sophisticated, featuring Richard Carpenter's elegant piano work and understated orchestration. The production had a warm, intimate quality, like being let in on a private moment. The interplay between Karen's tender vocals and the gentle instrumental backing created a perfect balance of elegance and accessibility. What made For All We Know particularly special was how it captured the uncertainty of love without ever slipping into pessimism. The lyrics acknowledged that relationships might not last forever, but celebrated the beauty of connection in the present. That mature perspective set it apart from the more idealistic love songs dominating the charts at the time. The song's success was significant. It proved that the Carpenters were more than just a pop act. They were serious musicians, capable of interpreting complex material with grace and sophistication. Number 9, Tired of Being Alone by Al Green.
I'm so tired of being alone. I'm so tired.
This soulful ballad showcases Al Green's signature smooth vocals, blending vulnerability and passion in every note. The song's minimalist arrangement, built on gentle guitar lines and subtle percussion, perfectly complements its heartfelt lyrics about longing for love.
That I wanna come back, won't you? Show me where.
Tired of Being Alone marked the beginning of Al Green's rise to stardom and set the tone for his reign as one of soul music's most iconic voices. Number 10, I Hear You Knocking by Dave Edmunds. Dave Edmunds took an old Smiley Lewis blues tune and gave it new life, layering it with crunchy guitars and a raw, echo-heavy vocal. The production feels almost out of time, like something beamed in from the early days of rock, but sharper. It's tight, fast, and delivered with a garage band urgency that cuts through. Edmunds recorded this track at Rockfield Studios in Wales, working mostly solo and playing many of the instruments himself. The slapback echo on his vocal was a deliberate nod to the Sun Records era of Elvis, giving the song a retro feel that stood out in the early 70s. 1971 wasn't just a year, it was a revolution in music. Which of these classics is your favorite? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe for more timeless music stories. Until next time, keep the music alive.